to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Rick. Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Hey, welcome to the Get Your Happy On Hour. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons. This is 937 The Ticket. Man, I got to start my show off like I'll do all the time. Got to give a big shout out to Matt Warner and Empire Fencing out in Waverly, Nebraska. Guys, y'all keep doing big things out there, and just know I'm proud of you. Very excited about tonight's show, man. It's hard to get my guests to be on the show, period. So what I'm going to say before I get to my guest is, man, today is a very tough day for me. Got some personal things going on in my hometown that I won't talk about on the air, but just want y'all to know, man, we're going to get through this. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with what's going on in my hometown in Greenville, Texas, but that's okay. We'll deal with that the best we can and keep it moving. You know, I still believe in the positivity. Positive to me is the key to life. If you're not being positive, I just think you're working against yourself. So I know adversity is out there. I'm actually seeing it happen in my own hometown right now. But you know what? We got to stay positive and get through all of this. So I'm just going to be honest with you, man. I'm looking forward to tonight's show because of who I have for a guest. Like I said, this man's hard to track down, man. I use a Rickyism. He's busier than a one-legged man in a kick fight. So, what's going on, little brother? My guest tonight is Mickey Joseph, former Husker great. What's happening with you, man?
I'm good, Rick. How you doing, man? How you doing? I hear
Good.
you. We're going to pray for you. We don't know what's going on, but we're going to pray for you on our end.
I appreciate that, man. It is very much needed.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, it's a private thing with somebody that I'm very close to, and I don't, like I said, I just choose not to make it public. But
right.
You know, I'm just being honest with people. I like being straight up and being honest, but I'm respecting my friends' wishes.
No doubt.
Yeah. So, Mickey, man, you know, everybody has at least heard your name, but I want to do something a little different. I want people to know from the beginning, man. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Marrero, Louisiana.
Where's that at? Where's that close to that?
West Bank, right outside of New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so we all grew up there. Me, my brothers, and my cousins. We grew up in a little old town called Marrero, call it the Concrete Jungle. you make it out of there, you're successful. Well, put it like this: you make it past 21, you're successful. So
wow.
We all made it out of there.
How big was that your hometown?
Not very big. Not very big. You know, just a suburb outside of New Orleans.
Okay, so you're one high school town?
No. You know, it's down south, so they're gonna have we had three high schools in my town.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
One private and two public schools.
Gotcha. So now let me back up and ask you this. When you was growing up there, and we're gonna talk about your brother a little later on, but I want to focus on you right now. Growing up in this town, Mickey, man, what was it like for you? I mean, I heard you say, you know, if you live to be 21, you done pretty much something that most don't.
Yeah, you know, it was rough. It was, you know, like these kids these days, you know, they say you got to get it out the mud. It was if you made one bad choice, you can be gone for life, and that you could be going to jail or you could be 6 feet under. So you had to pick and choose what you wanted to do, and how you want to do things, and how you maneuvered when you're out in the neighborhood. And
Mm-hmm.
we was blessed to have a father, that grew up on the streets before us, that kind of gave us the knowledge of
Wow.
when we went out like that. Now, one thing my father didn't do, he didn't he let us get out there. He let us go. He didn't. We wasn't poach boys where we had to stay on the porch all the day.
Right.
Go out there and tangle, go make your mistakes. But we made it out there. I mean, if it wasn't for Marrero, it wouldn't be none of us.
Wow. You know, I think that's a pretty interesting that he let y'all get out there and learn by experience versus just sitting around and hearing stories.
Yeah.
He let you see it for yourself.
Hmm.
Let me ask you this, Mickey. I mean, when did sports become a part of your life?
Well, I started playing football at the age of 6 or 7.
Okay.
That's when my dad got me into it, and then as we got older, Vance came along, and then Vance started playing, and then he was in high school. Then Sammy came along and he played, but on the way you have Terry, you have Derek, you have Chris, Big Dut, one of our cousins. We all played at the same high school. We all played at the private high school, Archbishop Shaw, for Coach. I mean, everybody in Louisiana know him, Hank Tierney, one of the legendary high school coaches here in the South. So we all went to the same high school, private high school. My dad said I wasn't tough enough to go to public school, so he sent me to private school.
That you weren't tough enough.
Well, yeah, and that's when I made my way from Archbishop Shaw, to Nebraska, and and after that, Nebraska's
And,
probably one of the best things that ever happened to me outside of Marrero, you
well, see,
know.
that was just going to ask you. You growing up in the South, I grew up in Texas, and it's a small town about
Mm,
30 minutes east of Dallas. So I understand that small town mentality.
yeah.
What was the deciding factor on why you chose Nebraska? Because I'm pretty sure you had other options.
Well, it was between OU and Nebraska, and my mom liked Tom Osborne better than she did Barry Switzer. If you want to be point blank about it. She thought Tom would be a better fit for me
Yeah.
than than Barry was, because she said Barry and I had kind of the same personality. Get up and go get it. Tom thought about what he was gonna do before he did it.
Right.
So,
But that's funny you say that because I had a very similar situation, and my
mm,
last two choices was Oklahoma and Nebraska. And I personally, honestly, man, I know this. I'm probably gonna get a little backlash for this, but I really wanted to be a Sooner, man. I just because there was only 3 hours from my house. I just thought that that was the thing to do. But like you, I had mom and dad in the house, and
yeah, yeah,
and Barry was talking to me.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the other one, he was talking to mom and dad.
yeah,
He talking
yeah,
to school teachers, so 2 against 1, and yeah. So I was just I always wondered that because I knew you was from the South, and I'm thinking,
yes,
what made Mickey come to Nebraska?
uh-huh.
And you came to Nebraska in what year?
87.
Okay, you came in '87. So that
Yeah,
makes that I want everybody to know we got this thing with all the Nebraska players. I mean, former players. And if you played before me, you're my big brother. If you played after me, you're my little brother. So that makes Mickey my little brother.
yes, you, Roger Turner, Gyro, y'all had a crew, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, man, a lot of times I know uh, we came real close to winning it all, but
Hmm.
a lot of a lot of people remember the '80s teams, even though we weren't the 71 and 70 and 71 or the 94, 95, 97. But a lot of people still remember our era. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
means a lot.
yeah, we didn't lose many games, and I tell people that all the time. We didn't lose many games. I think I can count. I mean, I think it's a stretch of 6 to 8 games I might have lost in 5 years.
Right,
and
right.
when I was there. But so it was a tradition that was built on winning. First of all, toughness,
Yeah.
because the play back in those days, you had to be tough. And I tease these kids because I say y'all play touch football compared to how we play. We said we hit for 20. If we touch somebody in spring football and it's not on a tackle day, oh man, you got to turn yourself in, especially if one of these kids get hurt. So the rules are protecting them these days, and I always tell some of these kids you wouldn't have made it back in the days because it was built off. You couldn't hide toughness because you had drills like the Oklahoma drill.
Correct,
You had open field tackling drills.
right.
So you had to do a lot of things, to work on your toughness if you wasn't tough. But if you wasn't tough, you stood out. And that's the difference, I think, with college football and college football when we played. We was probably less athletic because they're really athletic these days. They long, they can run, they pretty looking. But I just don't. And I tell my players, I just don't know how tough they are. You know, because I watch college football, and watch them run around some things. I see them turn down a lot of stuff. They make more career decisions than we made. Back then we flew in there. Don't matter what it was, we just flew in there.
Well, Mickey, I a lot of times when I talk with some of my former teammates, they really don't understand. They're a lot like me, I should say.
Yeah.
With the rule changes, the game has just changed so much
Yes. Yes.
because and this is not putting down the current players, but I'm
No.
saying,
They,
like, for example, what we call a good hit will get you tossed today, and
yeah.
you'll miss half of next week's games.
Well, that's to their defense. That's part of the problem. There's so many rules when it comes down to tackling. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, so it's not just get them on the ground anymore. You got to get them on the ground the right way, and defenseless player, and you
Yeah,
know, you got all this stuff they got to do, and missing tackles is at an all time high. You watch some of these games tonight, and the best tackling team usually won the game, but
yeah,
it's just you're not able to rep it in practice and practice it because they say, okay, this is a tackle day where you can take them to the ground. Well, you might not do that for another 6 days,
yeah.
and I know during the week once the season start, you want a thud. You don't want to tackle. So it's
Right.
hard. It's hard, and I have trouble with my team, so we try to do tackling circuits and just teach the technique and let them know you got to have want to when you want to do it.
Right. Well, and I was just going to get to that part too, man. I know you had a very successful career in Nebraska.
Mm.
That speaks for itself. But what made you want to go into coaching?
Well, I was in Canada. I left Nebraska and went to Hamilton, and it was during the time where it was like that's what option quarterbacks went. It went over to Canada, and I mean, after a while, I was like, okay, I'm tired putting the helmet on. I'm tired doing this. Let me get into coaching, and so I can't. I left Hamilton and I flew back to Omaha, Nebraska, and I started coaching at Omaha North. And bless his soul with Herman Colvin. That's who gave me my
Oh,
first. That's what gave me my first coaching job. People don't know that, so I stayed with Colvin, and then I went up to Wayne State, and that's how it all started. You wanted to stay a part of the game, and I wanted to stay competitive. So that was one way of doing it, and playing it through the eyes of these young men, and also trying to help them and guide them, and keep them on the right track.
well, that's and I'm gonna say this because I'm guilty of this. When you're working with these college athletes, and I do want to get to what you're currently doing, but
Mm.
just for example, I'm looking at, and I don't blame these young guys, but I feel like they are a reflection of the past
Hmm.
because they have that mindset that they're smarter than everybody else, and I know I was guilty of that.
Yeah, me too.
But as you get older and you get hindsight on your side, you
Hmm.
realize that you weren't quite as smart as you thought you were. And that's the question I have for you, man. Since you've been coaching, I'm talking now before NIL and before transport was the transfer portal.
Hmm.
What was it like for you trying to reach these young athletes? Was it more difficult or
No, I think it's difficult now with the money situation
okay?
because I have a saying here at Grambling. Are you chasing money that won't be there in 2 or 3 years? Or are you chasing a future? So and
God,
I, and I, and before I take them in a transfer portal, I make them answer that question because when you say you want to come to Grambling, it's still got to be on some type of relationship. We have to have a relationship. We have to know some things about one another, and I still promote education because I think that you're gonna need your education when all that money's going. And I don't think some of these kids think this money is going to last for the rest of your life. Now, some of them might have it for a while, the quarterbacks, because they're getting 5 million, 6 million,
right?
they might have it for a longer term because they might be invested in it. But some of them's gonna some of those quarterbacks gonna make bad decisions and they're not gonna have any money, and every time they transfer, all your credits don't transfer. So you got to make sure you stay on track doing your schoolwork. So what I do, I usually try to once I get them, I try to get them early,
Yeah.
or I get them when they already have a degree, so I can get them in grad school and I can further their education. And
That's
then and then what happens? I tell them I offer exposure equals playing time, because a lot of them are getting money to be backup. So we have a saying at Grambling: don't leave us to go play 20 snaps a game. Because you want money. Stay with us and play 40 to 45, and you would never even see that school, because the bigger school gonna come get you. The reason you want they want you at this school is because they need a backup. They need a backup. It's easy to take up the best FCS player and make him a backup, than take a high school kid. We had one of our kids that I had, was starting for Ole Miss at linebacker before he got hurt. So they're
hmm
all over. But they harder to reach now just because of the money, and so many people are in their ear, so many people are involved with them. Back in the days, you dealt with the high school coach and the parents.
right.
Now the high school coach is kind of out the loop. It's an agent. So you're trying to talk to an agent who you trying to get to know. You don't know if he's in it for the right. So yes, it was easier to reach him before the transfer portal, but really it was easier to reach him before the money.
Yeah.
When the money came, the money started controlling them, and that's why I asked them: are you chasing money or are you chasing your future? Because they're young, and I don't think some of them understand that they're 26 years old, and if they do the right thing with that money
Yeah.
might last for about 5 or 6 years, but you're still gonna
Mhm.
need your degree.
Correct.
You're
Correct.
still gonna need a degree. You're still gonna need something that people are gonna say, okay, he's educated. Let's give him this job. So I would say before the money started, it was easy to reach him.
Well, let me ask you this: like recruiting nowadays. I heard you mention agents. I mean, that sounds a lot like the pros to me. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You're dealing with agents now that they have their fee on top, and they trying to sell you the kids, and I'm respectful to them because they agents, and I'm really, it's no, I don't think there's any room in college football for agents, because you still should be able to deal with the kids and the kids' parents. But if the kids' parents are not involved, then that's good to have an agent, I guess. But they got to have the agent for the right reason, not
Right.
the
Right.
agent, that he's trying to get. He's trying to place this kid because these kids are young. Some of these kids are 21 years old and getting $300,000-$400,000 a year. Where they think that money? Where do people think that money going? They spending that money, man, on
Yeah.
clothes, and they spending that money on shoes, cars,
Yeah.
games. They're not really invested into a fund for their kids' education because they don't have any kids right now.
Right.
So some of them are doing the right thing, but I know the majority of them probably not doing the right thing.
Well,
I'm just saying that if we was in the era right now, you and I, would we be doing the right thing with all that money?
probably not.
I know. You know.
I think about it all the time, and I know that, and I'm not against, I mean, like I said, that's not my deal. I'm not against people being successful, but
Yeah.
I think it should definitely have some guardrails in place, man, because if you're a kid that's never had nothing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And all of a sudden you get a little something and
Yeah. Yeah.
it looks good on paper, but when you break it down, it's really not what it looks like it should be. You might say 300,000, but once you factor in all the other things and
At 30, so what? At 37% taxes and all that. Them
that's
kids,
what I'm saying. You got the tax
kids ain't
base,
recognizing all that.
and
You
you
know.
got the family members that feel like you rich, you done made it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the kids themselves sometimes get guilty of, I'm going to be able to do this for at least another 10 or 15 years.
Oh,
Even that.
yeah. But think about it. A kid got 300,000 at this school, 400,000 at this school. Well, in 5 years, he had about 1.2 million. And now he gets out of school. He has no degree. And the first job he gets, he's driving his truck at. I tell him he drives the trucks at Prime, so he can stay on his phone all day. Because he's probably working out in the morning, trying to still get in the league, and he
Yeah.
gets his salary at 55,000. Well, that's not going to be a lot of money to him, which it is. You don't have any kids. That's good money you can live off it. But I just pray for those kids, that especially the kids that go through something, and I always tell them like this, man, reach out to me, I'll help you. I help you. I help them when they come to Grambling because I know I can put you back, on track to graduate here at Grambling because we have something with our education department that we can do that's totally legal. But I hate to shoot my hand out there, but when I get them here, I usually can get them back on track graduating, and if I get them with a undergrad degree already, I usually can get them a grad degree in a year and a half. So that's my strategy when it comes down to working with our young men these days.
Well, look here. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to
Okay.
come right back with Mickey Joe's. Don't go anywhere. This is 93.7 The Ticket to get you happy on out.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
And electrical.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
And we back. Man, we're talking with current Grambling head football coach, my little brother, former Husker, Mickey Joseph. Hey, Mick, I got to ask you a couple questions that I was just thinking about.
Go ahead.
The first one is this, man. I know I'm not trying to relive my career or your career. This is just something that I have noticed that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't look, I don't know if it's safety is the word I'm thinking, but I notice a lot of the players now, they basically go out there with just their pants stopped right below their thigh pad.
Yes.
Even wear a thigh pad. I know that's the thing, and I see a lot of them do it. I'm not judging them or putting them down, but that just seems like that's not very safe to me. But I don't know, maybe with the rule change, maybe it is safe to do that. But I just can't. What's your take on that?
Well, I was in an era when we played, you had to put your knee pads over your knees. That's why they were called knee pads. And then I got to the era where then I started coaching, and they got to the point where they wanted to put it right above their knees. Now they got them in the middle of their thighs. So
yeah,
they're not protecting their knees. And I always say I hope the kid don't get his kneecap knocked over. We try to preach it, pull your pants down, but the referees don't enforce it, so it's hard for us to enforce it. So, you know, you just got to keep them prayed up and hope we don't lose anybody with any freak accidents because they
Yeah,
are
well,
doing it.
I mean, I've always wanted to ask you your opinion on that because, like I say,
Yeah.
you're currently the head
Yeah.
coach, you know, and you're dealing with this on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, but you never get the referee saying, "Hey, number 3 needs to put his knee pads down." And I'm, you know, because they did, I would say, "Well, you can't hard put him down if he don't have any on." You know,
Right.
so they don't enforce it, so they let them play just like the NFL. You know, so it's hard to enforce something that they're not enforcing.
Okay. Now, the other question I have for you too, man, is you got your brother doing big things up there in Denver, man. Can you share a little bit about what he got going on?
Well, yeah, he's up for a couple of NFL head coaching jobs. He's interviewed for a couple. A lot of it been out of the media. Vance been in the game for over 20 something years in the NFL. He started as a GA at Colorado. Then he went to Wyoming. Then he went back to Colorado. And he's 5 years into coaching. Then he went into the NFL. So he's been in advance. Has always been probably one of the smartest dudes in the room. Don't care what it was. School, football, checkers, marbles. He was always like the smartest guy. And he's a middle brother. We have a younger one. He just left out of here. My brother Sammy. He's the defensive back coach at ULM, University of Louisiana Monroe.
Okay.
So he's up here. He's up here close to me. But Vance is a middle kid, so he's one. He gets it from both ends. He gets it from me. He gets it from Sammy. But he's always been a strong individual. Individual that you know he made sure family always came first.
Now
You know,
he is currently the D coordinator. Is that correct?
the defensive coordinator at the Denver Broncos.
Wow,
So,
man.
hopefully we
Shout out
keep
to Vance.
keep him in his prayers that that he does get the opportunity. I know it's well deserved.
Yeah.
That he gets another opportunity because, like I say, he's one of the sharpest guys I know, and I don't say that because he's my brother. It's because I'm not the only one that says that, and he's
Yeah.
he's built for it. You got to be built for these head coaching jobs. And I don't care if you're in the playground. You got to be built for it because you,
Right.
you 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 take hits that nobody else has to take. But he's built for it, and like I said, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of all of them. I'm proud of Terry, my cousin, who's the DB coach at the Saints. I'm proud of Derek, who's the DB, who's the head strength coach at the University of New Orleans. So we're in the game, with the family, and we tight. We have a small circle, which is our circle. We know a lot of people, but when it comes to decision making with this profession, it always comes back to our family circle. It's never outside. We do have our mentors outside our groups, but we usually rely on family to help us with situations and decisions that we have to make within this profession.
Well, man, I just want to say I'm proud. I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of your brothers. I just think that's a pretty big deal, man, for y'all to support each other the way you do. Because let's be real, man. A lot of times, family can be can be harder on you than strangers.
Yeah,
And
and you know what? And that's true because after a loss, I have to answer to the piper, especially if my defense didn't play well. I gotta listen to him. He's the only dude I know can look at my game plan and say, hey, y'all need to do this, and look at his game plan and go have success on Sunday. But we hard on each other. For us, we critique each other hard and we tell each other the truth. And if it's something that we think you're doing wrong, nobody hesitates, you know, to step in and say you're wrong. The two
right,
young ones, they kind of used to hesitate until we say no, it's okay.
that we lose.
Know what's going on, but just a lovely family. A tight knit family.
Well, I'll tell you like this, Mickey. I just think it's special, man, that y'all have that many, people that are involved. And like I said, you're willing to help each
Can't
other.
hear you.
Oh, are we losing? Oh,
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us, Mick?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Huh. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he's working on getting his. See if we can hear.
Hello?
Can you hear us yet?
Can you hear him?
Oh, there he goes. He'll probably rejoin here in a second. I think he's trying to see if a refresh will work.
Okay.
But we could go to break if you're up for that.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Don't y'all go anywhere. This is 93.7 The Ticket.
To the get.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Anderson Ford in Lincoln has 2 convenient locations, which means 2 times the customer service, 2 times the inventory, and 2 times the ability to get you in the car of your dreams. Whether you visit us on the north side or the south side, you'll find more selection and a team that's always on your side. When you're looking for a better way to buy your next Ford, visit Anderson Ford in Lincoln, where exceptional service meets unbeatable selection.
Back to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
And we're back. Man, we had a little technical difficulties there, but I think we got Mickey back. You back with us, little bro? Are you back with us, Mickey? Oh, I don't think we got him back.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we just got a blank screen here.
Well, I hope he can hear me, but I am very, very, very pleased with the fact that this, Mickey has accomplished what he has accomplished. I just think that's really important. A lot of times, man, when you're in that coaching profession that he's in, man, there's a lot of moving pieces, and if they don't all line up correctly, you can be without. So I hope we'll have Mickey back here in a few, but if not, we'll be thankful for what we did get. And I just want everybody to understand that this thing called life, man, it comes with a lot of challenges. And with these challenges, it is what it is, man. You got to learn how to deal with them in a real productive way, because when you don't, man, those consequences are kind of crazy. Bach, is there anybody listening tonight, or?
Well, there might be. I no comments as of yet.
Okay.
Mickey might be back on. I can't tell if he's there. Mickey, you with us?
Yeah, I can't see you guys.
Yeah, we can't see you either, but at least we can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll work.
But okay, Mickey, you there though?
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know where that camera's at.
That's all right. We'll make it work. We'll make
Can
it
you hear
work.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. We just can't see you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think we can see you now. Is it
Well,
yeah, we can see the. I think
you turned the camera away from.
I think I turned my camera around or something.
Yeah.
So Mickey, you this is what year is this for you at Grambling?
I'm going on my 3rd year, my 3rd season.
So how are you liking it down there, man? I mean, that's you close. You kind of back in your neighborhood or your neck of the woods, as we say in the South.
Yeah, and I think I think we on the right path. I think we turning the corner. We on the right path. So we in the portal right now. That's what we've been doing all day today. Is talking to kids in the portal. Is going dead. So we got to make sure we get the right kids up in here. We young. we'll have 31 sophomores next year, 23 juniors. So when we redshirted those kids when we first got in here. So we have a good group of young kids that's really good, really talented. So we got to try to get some older kids in here and beef up the O line and D line like we always do, because it's a big man's game. So
Oh yeah.
once we beef that up, we feel pretty good about it. We have some good quarterbacks that we target in the portal. You kind of on my end, you kind of gotta wait and see, because there's going to be a whole bunch of them out there because they're moving so slow, and some it's going to be kids out there, and we'll be prepared and be ready for them.
Well, I just think that uh, first of all, I gotta say congratulations, man, on being the head coach. I mean, I just think that's a big deal, and the fact that you're making it work, and like I was touching on before we had the technical difficulties, and your brothers and your relatives, your circle, I guess I can call it.
Uh-huh.
You got a very legitimate, circle. And
Yes.
also, I wanted to say this to you too, man. I played against a guy that I actually saw you in a photograph with. His name is Doug Williams.
Yeah, Dougie right there. Hey,
Doug played
Doug,
USFL against, with me, man, and my quarterback was a young man named Reggie Collier.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I thought that, I mean, I think it was my rookie year when I was with Washington Federal. It amazed me because everybody else is warming up and Doug and Reggie standing on the 50-yard line just talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the pros. Okay. I'm thinking everybody needs to be working out, but no, Doug, man, he's a very, very talented young man. And I mean, he gave us the business. I know that.
Well, yeah.
He's had a very successful athletic career. And is he still a part of your program, or does he just like to come hang out?
No, he's still very much, I still, reach out to him, on a weekly basis, you know, especially during the season. Same goes for Shaq Harris.
Mhm.
Those guys are very supportive of me. And one thing about Doug always he's gonna shoot you straight. One thing about Shaq's gonna shoot you straight. And they let you know when they're not happy with something, and since I've been here, we have nine one loss games. So we had to go back and figure that out, and so even with the 9-1 lost games, we had the lead 9 times.
Oh, wow.
And we lost the lead. And it's three reasons. I always tell it: the offense didn't make a play and keep the ball when there's 3:35 left in the game, and when we gave the ball back to the defense had to go out. It's a minute 15. We got to figure slowing them down. So first thing I had to do is take a look at myself and say, okay, what could I do better in these situations with our young men, because we're losing 29, 28, 17, 15. So my thing is put them in a situation in practice. So this spring we have a run station, we have a pass station, and then the last station of each day will be a situation station, either be a 3-minute, a 2-minute, um, 3 minutes before the half. Is this a need or is this a want? Certain situations that we're gonna have to do. To make sure that when we put them in these situations, that we're doing the right thing as coaches. Do we have the right personnel in the game to run the football? Do we have the right corners in the game to stop the pass? Do we have the right pass rushers? Should we punt the ball out of bounds and pin them? Different things. So we're gonna go back as a staff, and we'll go through all my notes after this portal closes, because that's what you got to do. You got to self-evaluate yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, you're never gonna get over the hump. And 7-5 this year. The first winning season since 2019. Like I told my coaches, don't pat yourself on the back. Everybody's winning. Everybody's winning 8 to 9 games these days. So if you
Right.
can't win 8 to 9 games these days in college football, it's kind of like it's weird, because you should, because there's enough players out there, and We just got to keep pushing forward and keep doing things the Grambling way and keep working together. And we're gonna turn this corner this year 3. We're excited. We're year 3 excited. We have a lot of returning young players we think that's really good. So we gonna get after it. We got one big one, TCU, this year coming up, and the rest of them will be the favorite or a 1 or 2 point underdog.
Okay, well that means you got a fighting chance.
Yes, we always have a fighting chance. Yeah, my mom used to always say, "The Lord woke you up this morning, and I go ahead and fight."
I agree with Mom. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
When do you guys actually? So like now, y'all are. I know you're doing the portal thing. So after the portal closes, then you go into like what off-season training or something like. I guess.
No, we started school on the 8th of January last week.
Okay.
So we'll do volunteer stuff for the next 2 weeks. Just getting their bodies together before we really throw them in it. Because remember, they've been off a whole month. Because they've been off a whole month, so we want to at least give them two weeks to get their body straight, but make them volunteer so they can go at their own pace. Because sometimes you don't want to throw your pace on them right now because their body's probably not ready for it. So we'll let them, gradually get their stuff in it. It's just a self-motivated team, so they'll get after it. But we gotta make sure that we let them get their way. And that's the difference with these kids these days. It's like you gotta kind of like put some stuff in their lap to make them understand that it's their career, because so much stuff now is just what they're just giving, they just taking because people just giving. So we try to make them be self-motivated, get out there on your own and do it. Like people say, well, it's voluntary, but I'm Dion. I'm like, Dion, I'm keeping receipts though. Yeah, I'm gonna see who's gonna. I'm see who's gonna. I don't have to write it down, but I know. Hey, such and such just went in the weight room
You
today.
know who's volunteering and who's not, huh?
Yes. So, but I'm excited the situation that we're in. The future's bright over here.
Okay, and let me ask you this: when do you guys actually start spring ball?
We're gonna start spring ball. We'll start spring ball February 23rd, right after Mardi Gras. Because Mardi Gras is early this year, so right after Mardi Gras on the 23rd, we'll start, and then we're gonna be out. We'll be done on March 21st, and then we'll get back in the weight room for a month and a half before we let them go for the summer. Bring them back. At the beginning of June. After they work out through May, and bring them back at the beginning of June, and then we'll get ready for the season. So we have a nice little plan. We don't have the personnel, we don't have 10 trainers, we don't have 15 strength coaches, we don't have all of that. So we have to really work together with the other sports, and these come of the best coaches ever been around, because they do so much more with less, and they don't complain. They just go out and get it. Like I tell everybody, we don't have a $20 million roster, but I expect my guys to go get the best players they can go get for their room. And my guys do a great job, because with us, it still have to be about relationship. You still got to have some people skills. With us, for to get players, we can't just get in the bidding war, because most of the time we're going to lose it. But if we get into the war where we speaking to you about life, and that we're going to help you with your life, we can win those battles. And sometimes we don't win those battles right away. Sometimes those kids go get that money, and then they end up calling us back saying, hey, coach, you know what? You were right. Once they put a price tag on you, they're going to expect certain things. When we talk about life, we have something that, we trying to offer you, and that's advice. And I always tell them, I'm 57 years old, so I'm in grade 57. And I say, you guys are in grade 21. So I've been here a little longer than you, so you probably should listen to me.
Yeah, well, you got hindsight on your side.
Yes.
And that's something that you can't teach. I mean,
No.
you got to learn that. But I was really curious to know, man, about your program, and I definitely want to get down there.
Yeah.
days, man. I need to get down there and see what
But
y'all do.
yeah, and now you need to meet me in Vegas when we played Jackson State. We had Abdul Muhammad came with a couple of people he know.
Oh, okay.
Last year I had a couple of my son Zach and his wife Brooke. They all
Right.
came up. We played because we're gonna play again next year in Vegas against Jackson State. We played them last year. We had about 40,000 people there, which is a pretty good crowd. You know,
Okay.
and so if you get a chance, come on over and hang out and get you some HBCU football, man. You'll love it. It's a
You
great
know what?
atmosphere.
That Vegas game sounds like something I could do because Coach Sam's live out there, man. So I
Look, listen. And Coach Sam's hung out with me, and came to the game with me. Coach Sam's
Oh,
rode on the bus. Coach Sam's rode on the bus with me to the game. Coach Sam hung out with me for 2 days.
see that?
I had Coach Sam at practice and everything. Coach Sam was the one talking to me during the game, talking about, hey, just calm everybody down right now because y'all gonna win this game. Yeah, man.
Man, that's
You know
cool.
me. That's one thing. You know me. I'm never gonna forget where I come from. I'm
No,
gonna deal with the guys that helped me out. And Coach Sam, you was like with all of us. He wasn't. We didn't have a whole bunch of African American coaches on the staff, but he was one that he reached everybody. Don't care if
yeah.
you was white or
He
black.
can relate.
He,
You know,
he-
he can
yeah,
relate with everybody so well,
yeah,
man.
yeah, he was good. So yeah, so when I went out to Vegas, I called Coach Sam. Me and Coach Sam hooked up. He came. We went and worked out at UNLV, the old school, his old stomping grounds. And
Right, right.
then the next day he came and got on the bus with me and rode in there. Yeah, he hung out with me, man. I was good to see Coach Samuels, man. I was good to see him.
Well, man, you know what? I'm gonna try to make that happen, man. Me and Coach Sam are gonna be hanging with Grandma. But
Oh
look,
yeah,
hey, look here. I gotta ask you one final question
go
because
ahead.
we great. But I want to ask you a final question, then we're gonna wrap the show up. All right. When Mickey Joseph, head football coach at Grambling, when he does get some free time, how does Mickey get his happy on?
Oh, you know what? I have my kids. I go see them. Or try to go spend time with my parents who's not getting any younger.
Right,
You know,
right.
so and that's what I usually do. I don't play golf. I don't do anything like that.
Okay.
But that's what I usually do is just give time to my kids. And I just recently had 2 daughters. Graduate from the University of Oklahoma. You know how hard that was.
Oh man, you
Yeah,
got some
yeah.
students.
I had to write that check to that school. Boy, I was so upset.
Well,
But yeah. But one's going to med school and one's going to nursing school. So, I'm happy because of that. And just spend my time with my kids and kind of relax a little bit. But with us as a head coach, there's no downtime.
right, right.
You're always moving, and because you always you got to stay ahead of the game.
Well, look,
And
Mick, I just want to say thank you, man. First of all, for being
I
on the
appreciate you.
and we're
Yes.
gonna wrap this show up the same way we do every week. Every day you blessed to say it's just another day in paradise. And no matter what, you gotta get your happy on. See y'all next Sunday.